Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Wednesday, the 15th day of November, 2023, Wednesday of the 32nd week of the year, the 32nd week in Ordinary Time. Still in Silver Spring, Maryland, with our first-year friars doing the Advent workshop, Advent Christmas workshop for them, but wanted to show you that a little bit more about this place. I think that I've shown you, behind me over here is the bell tower to Holy Name College, which was the theological residence for us when we studied theology here in Washington, D.C. when I was a friar, but now it is the postulancy house. So the first year, as you enter the order, called postulant, and it's where the postulants begin to get a sense of what it means to live life communally, and then a little bit more about what it means to live as a Franciscan. But it is on the property of this church over here. This is St. Camilla's Church, and this was the church where I was youth minister for 4 years, where I met the friars and was really the gateway for my entering the order. So it's a very special kind of place for me, and to be back again. It is Wednesday, and back in Raleigh. It is Mass Day for the Franciscan School, but it is also Mass Day here at St. Camilla's for the Franciscan International School. Now, St. Camilla's was not founded by us. We came in very, very, very late, not as early in the parish's existence as we did at St. Francis, but we came in after it had been in existence for a while, and it had a school, St. Camilla's School, and it has a long tradition, history. But then friars who were running the parish a couple of years ago decided to retool the school and to rename it, and so now it is the Franciscan International School because there are many international peoples who live in this neighborhood. Some of them diplomatic service, some of them doing other kinds of things, in the district in Washington D.C. And so behind me over here, through the tree line, you can see that's the Franciscan International School across a great parking lot. So another large parish, but the Franciscan International School is not as large as the Franciscan School, but it is interesting that both schools have their community masses on Wednesdays. So Wednesday is a great day to celebrate Eucharist with community in a Franciscan context. So that's what's going on right now in the church building. But our readings for today, let's see, wisdom. Continue with the book of wisdom. Here in this passage, God gives the kings and rulers of the world a cautionary statement, an admonition that their power comes from him, comes from God, and they must use it correctly and rightly and justly, or else God's going to come get them, basically. And the thing about it is that God says God shows no favorites. God shows no partiality. Whether or not you have power or riches or wealth does not matter to God. It is that you perform what your responsibilities are well and to the best of your ability. And when you do not, you will suffer because of that. And you yourself will suffer, the people will suffer, everyone will suffer, because you are not living up to the expectation and to the honor and to the dignity of what your station in life has given to you, and what God has given to you through it. And so it's a very interesting kind of statement, again, how to use wisdom. Wisdom is not just about knowledge or data according to our faith. Wisdom is about knowing who we are and putting to best use that reality, that understanding, that truth of who and what we are. Because if we do not, then we can never succeed in anything, basically. In the gospel today, Jesus has the encounter with 10 lepers, 9 of whom appear to be Jewish, and one of them happens to be a Samaritan. Again, that group of people who intermarried with non-Jewish people, and so the Jews in Jerusalem and in Judea thought they had polluted the bloodline, the pure bloodline of Judaism, and so therefore they had broken the covenant, and they were, the bastard children, of God, or whatever it is. But remember, in Luke's gospel, it is the Samaritan who cares for the man who has been beaten by thieves on the road, and it is the Samaritan who, after he has been healed of his leprosy, goes back and thanks Jesus. The other 9 do not. And basically Jesus, asks, we're not 10 healed, where are the other 9? And why did only this man who is, not Jewish, come back, and thank me? It's an interesting kind of statement because, again, it goes along again with this whole idea that we can take so much for granted, and we can basically say, well, this should have been done, and I'm glad that it's done, and I'm going to go off now and be, well again, and never think about anything else. But the simple act of a thank you, the simple act of gratitude. You remember that, again, there was someone who once said there are two phrases or two expressions that people have very have great difficulty in using, and that is please and thank you. And it's no, I'm sorry. It's I'm sorry and thank you. And that with those two phrases, so much can be gained, so much can be opened up, so much can be given a greater insight and greater light to say I'm sorry and to say thank you more often. This Samaritan, this non-Jew, this foreigner, as Jesus says, recognizes the fact that to be grateful for what it is that you have received, is part of the process of receiving that goodness from God. May that be always true of all of us, to be able to recognize in gratitude the things that God has done for us. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. Continue to keep our postulants in your prayers. May the Lord give you his peace.